Metro Transit riders traveling from Brooklyn Center to Bloomington can expect a much faster ride soon. Metro Transit staff tells reporter Pafua Yang about the plans starting next week.
Well, changes will be coming for some bus riders catching a bus in Brooklyn Center. Route 5 corridor will be going away, and in its place will be the D-Line Bus Rapid Transit. The Metro D-Line runs from Brooklyn Center to Mall of America in Bloomington. The D-Line will add 59 new shelters with heat, lights, security features, and real-time information. Buses will also provide service every 10 minutes throughout most of the day, and people will have to prepay for tickets. The goal is to make service about 20% faster.
The Metro D-Line was designed to provide upgrades to the Route 5, Metro Transit's busiest bus route. This route carries the most passengers per day, but often sees itself slowed down in traffic and sees itself stopping frequently every block, pulling in and out of traffic.
Olson says there won't be any construction in Brooklyn Center because the Metro D-Line and C-Line will share stations. However, you will see construction from downtown Minneapolis to Bloomington. The best way to keep up to date with detours is to visit the Metro Transit website and sign up for updates. The 18-mile project is set to begin the first week of April, and it's expected to complete late 2022. In Brooklyn Center, Pafua Yang, CCX News.
Congress recently passed the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. That package included more than $1 billion to help Minnesota schools deal with various aspects of the pandemic. This week, Congresswoman ILHAN Omar visited the Robbinsdale School District to see how they'll benefit from the aid.
We took the needs they told us about. And advocated for resources to be released within the American Rescue Plan, and now we're seeing the early stages of the implementation. It's really good.
Tuesday, Representative Omar toured Neal Elementary in the Robbinsdale School District and met with the interim superintendent, Stephanie Barrage, to talk about the aid package and the challenges they've faced since the start of the pandemic. Barrage says the district is expected to get about $9 million, which will help them with staffing, transportation, and a summer school program that will be available to all 12,000 students in the district.
We have survived a global pandemic, everyone across the United States, across this world. So to be able now to have students back on site and not take a break, to be here and to be able to educate students in June and July, that typically has not happened. Typically we've done it for, like I said, a third of our students, but now we're going to do it for all. That is a huge, huge deal.
The superintendent said that the district will also receive another $3 million from the Federal CARES Act. Many students at Cooper High School are preparing to go back to in-person learning in April after a year full of changes and challenges. But student journalists have risen to the occasion, recording it in the student newspaper and keeping the Cooper community connected at the same time. Reporter Shannon Slatton had a chance to speak to them about the experience.
In a year where just about everything changed or even stopped altogether at Cooper High School, student journalists kept their newspaper going.
A nice glimpse of normalcy in a year that has been anything but normal.
Eric Zuccola, the Quill advisor, says students reacted quickly and started covering what would likely be the biggest story of their high school news career. It was a developing news story, which meant it changed every day.
Oh, it was definitely very weird. We didn't know what was going on because things were changing every day, and there was definitely story adjustments, with, okay, now this is happening, now this is happening.
Max REKELA JASPER was on staff last year, and he's the editor-in-chief this year. He says the first stories had a very common theme.
A lot of them just were very uncertain of what was going to happen next.
But something that was certain was the effort.
We put in 110% effort into the Quill.
And it showed. Last year's staff earned awards and accolades for some of the work they produced during that uncertain time. This year's staff has the same drive and passion.
They have really stepped up in a very difficult situation, again, both academically and journalistically throughout the year.
And the news cycle is getting back to normal, too. Max's brother Luke joined the staff this year as the variety editor.
I haven't gotten heckled yet, which is nice.
And he isn't afraid to write a controversial movie review, one of the lighter articles in this 10-page publication that seeks to engage students.
Something to read in their downtime, like if they see something they can maybe connect with, or maybe if they saw like a movie or a show, then they can just read about it.
Ultimately, Luke, Max, and the Quill staff are a voice of the students. And even though the school is quiet, the students still have something to say.
I think they've been very conscientious about the role that they are playing as a voice for the students in a time where the students aren't around each other.
Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
During the pandemic, the Quill got to move to full color and a completely digital publication. We've put a few links on our website so you can check it out. And one more note, Max is already making plans to study journalism next year in college. Local nonprofit Interfaith Outreach is making a final push to collect food donations during Minnesota Food Share Month. The organization has a goal of raising $200,000 and filling the food shelf with specific items by April 16th. As part of the campaign, Interfaith held a Shop Then Drop event on Tuesday, where community members dropped off donations and enjoyed goodie bags filled with ways to prevent hunger in the community.
The pandemic has made it even harder for families and neighbors in our community to put food on the table and consistently support their families. So now is the time. Step up, help us not only meet hunger needs in our community, but work with us to prevent hunger in the future.
Interfaith is accepting donations on Mondays and Fridays from 10 to 5. Financial donations can be made on the Interfaith Outreach website.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Hill Murray's boys hockey team won't play in the state tournament because of recent exposure to an opponent who tested positive for COVID-19. That means Wayzata advances to the state semifinals Friday night. Jason Malolo has more on the Trojans.
This is Wayzata's fourth time in the state tournament since 2013. Steady progression throughout a season is always the key to playoff success. This group of Trojans overcame a slow start and steadily built momentum throughout the winter.
In the beginning of the season, we kind of started off a little more shaky, but with the last 6 or so games, we've been progressing pretty good, playing our game, getting in the corners, grinding, and getting a lot of shots on, so that's what we're going to try to do in state.
Head coach Pat O'Leary is most impressed by the young men who patrol the blue line. Coming into the season, Wayzata had only one defenseman with significant varsity experience.
That decor has got so much better over the season, and which has been huge for us. And then I think, basically, we've had consistent scoring up and down the lineup all year long. We've had to move some guys around a little bit here and there, but I think we're like where we're at right now with our lineup.
The Trojans know they can't control what happens with their first round game. All they can do is show up when they're told, play hard, and try to win a state title. And that's what they're hoping to do. Jason Malolo, CCX Sports.
The state girls basketball tournament tipped off Tuesday with quarterfinal round games. In Class 4A, the Hopkins Royals look to continue their long winning streak. The Royals meeting Forest Lake as Hopkins look to advance to next week's semifinals. Amaya Battle with the ball out top passes to Nunu Agara, who hands it back to Battle for the driving layup, and the Royals are off to an early lead. Agara passes into the low post to Maya Naji. Great footwork by Naji as she gets inside to score 2 of her 14 points. The Royals get their perimeter game going too. Battle out to a wide open Kelly Boyle, who drains a three-pointer, and the Royals lead 28-13 in the first half. On the defensive end, Hopkins sophomore Taylor Woodson with a left-handed block from behind, denying the Rangers Josie Call. The Royals extend their lead before halftime. Battle stops and pops in an 18-footer. The Royals take a 48-22 lead into halftime. Woodson passes to Elena Contreras. She's open for a three and is one of 6 Hopkins players to score at least 8 points in the game. Liv McGill gets to the rim and puts in 2 of her 10 points as Hopkins wins 76-44. The Royals play Chaska in the Class 4A semifinals on April 7th at the Target Center. The Providence Academy girls basketball team was back in the state Class 2A tournament for a second straight year, and the Lions had to overcome a record-setting performance to pull out a win. Providence Academy looking for its 21st win of the season when they met Duluth Marshall in the Class 2A quarterfinals. Off a Lions missed shot, the Hilltoppers' Gianna Neepkins with the rebound, and she is off and running. Neepkins takes it all the way to the basket, scores and is fouled. The start of a big night for the senior. The Lions' Grace Counts with an outlet pass to Madden Greenway, and the 7th grader does the rest. Nice step-through move, and she lays it in. 32 points in the game for Greenway. The drive to the basket by Marshall's Deja Starks. She scores, and the Hilltoppers lead 41-38 at halftime. Second half, and Maria Counts fires a pass down low to her sister Grace, who scores, and Providence takes the lead. But the Lions, like most teams, have no answer for Neepkins. She hits basket after basket in this one. Neepkins scores a state record 67 points in the game as Marshall rallies to tie the game at 90. Under 10 seconds to play, and Grace Count scores what turns out to be the winning points on this basket as Providence Academy pulls it out 94-91. The Lions now play New London Spicer in the state 2A semifinals on April 6th. And you can visit our website at ccxmedia.org for highlights and coverage of the boys basketball state quarterfinals. Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.